Hello and good. Oop, I got muted for a second there. So good evening, families and students of ninth graders, and welcome to North Central. We're super excited to have you on our first ever this digital open house. And so this is new for us. So we're pretty excited to try this out. It's new software and everything. So you got to kind of bear with us if it's kind of clunky. So I'm Wendy Bromley. I'm one of the assistant principals, and I'm going to be the moderator tonight. So if you would like to ask any questions, go to the Q&A, and throughout the day, throughout the evening, everybody's going to go and have a little bit of information that they want to share. As the questions and answers, or the questions come in, I'll start kind of grouping them, sending them over to different staff members to answer. And then if we run out of time and we don't get to all of your answers, what we will do is we will take all of those questions, we will answer them, and we will make sure we send it back out to all of you to make sure that you have the answers to your questions. We don't want to leave any question unanswered. So please send your Q&As to us, and I am going to start out by introducing our principal, Mr. Fisk.
Good evening. Just wanted to welcome you. I mean, it's ironic you say welcome to North Central High School and we're doing it virtually. Definitely different. Please know, families, that we've been working diligently all summer on the following topics. The things we learned from the spring. Number one was digital learning, continuous remote learning, social learning. We're all really prepping ourselves to look at how can we expand and enhance our activities and athletics programs as we move into this unknown time. Know that we're going to be driven by some variables beyond our control, but we do have parameters that will allow us to do our work. Know that we're going to do everything within those parameters that allow us to engage activities, work with students. And then last is one of the questions I've taken quite a bit from families as I prepared for today, meeting with all faculty. We had 19 interviews, families and kids, and one was, how do they feel about just a specific schedule? Most families are really excited about a dialed-in schedule Monday through Friday that really defines the boundaries of our kids' learning. Know also that families were really encouraged by online conferences. So tonight, after you're done with this, I apologize in advance. You're going to hear my voice again. And that's to remind you to sign up for our conferences with our teachers, your advisory teachers, which I don't know, I knew them as homerooms. You may know them as something different, but please be aware of those and take advantage of those. And then know that as we move forward into this virtual environment, I'm going to say it's not new for us. How we got welcomed into it as families and kids and staff was less than ideal. However, we had to manage that chaotic environment of the spring the very best that we could and served our children the best that we could. Now we have time to upfront load schedules, teaching, academics, social support. So I'm frankly really excited to get us moving. And on that note, I'll move it towards Tammy McCracken. Tammy.
So I'm Tammy McCracken. I'm one of the assistant principals here at North Central High School, and my topic that I'm going to be discussing today. My mic is muted? No? Oh, it says it on my screen. I'll ignore it. Thank you for letting me know that. The topic I'm talking about today is
technology. You're in a really good spot.
So as we talk about technology, it's a very broad topic, and as Mr. Fisk talked about, we have we'll be talking about a live schedule and what that looks like for continuous remote learning, and we'll also be looking at what that classroom looks like, and the third part is technology distribution. So I'm going to share my screen for just a minute here, and the first thing I'm going to show you is ensuring that you've all seen, this is our district website. So if you come down here and scroll down, you'll see these tiles across the bottom. And here we have laptop checkout, back to school. So I'll show you this one first. And this is where you'll see some of that continuous remote learning that we're talking about and giving you some information on it. This is kind of your information central for all your back to school stuff. So if you're looking for what is the school schedule, what does that look like, the documents are found here. So I specifically want to talk about this idea of technology and technology support. So Microsoft Teams is our adopted platform. So that'll be the consistent platform that teachers will be using with your students. Some teachers didn't use Microsoft Teams in the spring. So for some, it'll be a learning curve. Most teachers did, so they'll have some familiarity with it. But this will be the central part of your students' educational experience when they log on in the morning. Laptop checkout and internet options are right here under access. So last week we were able to check out nearly 800 laptops. So if your student still hasn't checked that laptop out, then please make sure that you go online and fill out your online form. And the last thing I want to share, let's see, right here. Is this screen right here. So as your student is engaging in an online classroom, the center of that classroom experience will be Microsoft Teams. And in that, they'll have a place where they're going to check in and see an agenda each day. They might have some time where they're in a video conference with their teachers in the morning. They'll have some time in the afternoon where there'll be online opportunities for them to see some videos constructed, some links to some videos for educational support, and then a way that they're going to be talking about that. So if you have any questions about technology, just go ahead and let me know.
All right, we are going to send it over to Shamarika now.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. For some reason, mine was saying mute as well. Good evening. I'm Shamarika Nakamura, the School Community Facilitator Specialist here at North Central. I am also the advisor for the Shades Multicultural Club and also an advisor teacher for 9th graders. My role at North Central is to help families and students by providing any basic needs or supports that may be needed by families. So we have several different options for or opportunities for supports for our families, including food supports, which would be our Bites to Go program, which is a weekly food delivery program. We also have the clothing closet, food pantry. I assist with healthcare enrollment, providing hygiene products and school supplies. So if your family is ever in need of any support, you are able to email me, shamarican@spokaneschools.org, or you can also call my office phone, or you can also send a text through Remind. In the chat box, the Q&A, I will paste a link that will take you to a survey to fill out if your family is in need of any support. I'm just here to support you in any way possible. So go ahead and fill out that form if you do need any additional support, including food, hygiene, or anything else that you can think of. And I will send it over to Macy Pate.
Hello, I am a counselor for some special populations. I have with me the other counselor. This is Lindsay Zalad. We had some technology issues, so we are going to do our best with some tech. So I'll introduce myself and then bring her back with me. Sorry if you hear a child crying in the back. This is just where we're at tonight. We're doing our best. But my name is Macy Pate. I have been at North Central for 9 years, and I have the ELD and the highly capable students on my caseload for all grade levels. And then I'm going to let you see Lindsay Zalad here. Okay, Lindsay, you're on.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I learned the hard way that your Apple phone doesn't like live meetings, so I'm working on downloading out my home computer. Sorry about that, but I'm Lindsay Zalid. I'm counselors for 9th grade, and I think I'm going to be able to log on my computer here soon, but nice to meet everybody. I'm going to work on my technical challenges and hopefully join the meeting in a more effective way. So nice to meet all of you. Welcome to North Central.
All right, and that's it from the counselors.
Hi, my name is Madison Robb. I'm the new athletic director and activities director. Brand new here at North Central, excited to be here. This year's been a little bit different in terms of sports. As announced, we won't have any sports in the fall, but we will get to do a fall general workout time period. They're calling it kind of a summer model, what we'd normally get to do in the summer. So as an announcement to all of the 9th graders and an invitation, please come and join any teams to work out and any clubs. Being involved and participating always makes high school a lot more fun and helps with social and emotional networking and just to feel that support. So in terms of having the general workout season this fall, it will be starting September 28th through November 30th. If you have any questions, please email me, call me, or contact any of the sport coaches directly. They are aware of all of the updates. And make sure to follow closely with all of the North Central social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's where you will be getting more information on how to sign up through Family ID and get registered and get your physicals for any of the sport and athletics. For more of the clubs like debate and band and drama, we are continuing to work on those, and there will be more information to come. They will, for the fall, most likely be online, and we're going to be getting very creative with that. But we want you to know that we are here for you, and we're excited to have you. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you. I'm very excited for this new class to be joining us. My name is Jessica Everman. I'm one of the assistant principals at North Central. I've been there for probably like 18 or 19 years in a variety of roles, and so have had some experience and know a lot of people, and lots of times I know a lot of siblings of students that have been coming into North Central, and families. So it's always exciting. I wish I could see your faces, so I'm sorry. It's kind of weird just talking to a screen, but we welcome you. We're very excited. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the launch conferences, which are next week. They are the 8th through the 11th, and that is actually our very first week of school. That's what they consider when we're starting school. So the launch conference is very important for you to participate in, both the student and the parent or guardian. That is how they will take attendance, and that's how we report it to the state. And we have to make sure that we're getting connected with families and supporting you and getting information from you, so we make sure that we have everything that we need to be able to do our very best for you. So I'm going to show you a little directions are very short. Tammy also showed you, or Miss McCracken, on the when she showed you her screen that said, here's all the information you need. There was also a link there, but I'm going to share this document with you so that you can just see a really quick the directions, which is very, very simple. You go online to spokaneschools.org/conferences. You'll be able to enter your email that they have on file. So if you don't have your email or any way to access the email that is on file with the district, you would need to call our public office at 354-6300 and make sure to get that email updated. If you can access that email and you don't remember which one it is, you can always enter additional information, and then they will take you to sign up for a conference. You have to complete a few questions, give us a little information, go through the process, and then pick a time next week that works for you. And then we are also able to count it for attendance for the first week of school. If you don't have email or internet, then you can call the student office at the number below, and they'll be able to help you schedule that conference with your advisory teacher. And Steve touched on this a little bit, or Mr. Fisk, he touched on this a little bit already. Advisories like your homeroom, It's like your adult advocate, another person in supporting you, like your counselor. But this person, at least while we're doing this online real-time virtual learning, will be the person that sees you every day in the morning, right off the bat, checks in with you in a smaller group of students than normal classroom. And we have a bunch of 9th grade advisory teachers. So you will have one and you'll be having your conference with that person. So you really get to know that person. They'll be able to help you out and they'll be able to guide you through your North Central experience. So that is about all I have about conferences. But if you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A. And I'm going to introduce, the next person is Mary O. Gustafson, and she works with us in our special education department. So she's up next.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary O. Gustafson. I'm a principal assistant, and I've been at North Central as long as Jessica, Mrs. Everman. So I'm here tonight just to answer any questions you may have regarding students that have IEPs or need some accommodations, things like that. So please ask your questions and I'll be here for that. Thanks for coming tonight.
All right, Mr. Sherwood, could you, I wanted to address a few questions by maybe just putting up something. Can you give me rights to share my screen? Trying to see.
Yeah, you hit the share button and then I'll send it up there.
And I would hit that where? Well, what I'll do is I will look for some questions, and maybe in the meantime, Mr. Sherwood, maybe you can pull up the school schedule so people can get a visual look at what the school schedule will look like. And so I don't keep everybody's time trying to figure out technology. And so actually what I would like to do is maybe let Lindsay Zalid address questions about how would they get in touch with you? How would they, if they need schedule changes, tell us about that.
Awesome. Okay, can everybody hear me all right? Okay, you guys, I figured it out. So now you know if you have technical difficulties, I can probably help you figure it out because I just did. I made the mistake of leaving the charger cord at work, so lesson learned, and now I know how to put Teams on a Mac computer, so there we go. And I got AirPods today, you guys. I am moving up in the world, so 9th graders, I'm there with you. So I'm here finally so I can talk to you in person, well, virtually in person. So I think, Mr. Sherwood, if you want to share the schedule, I'm happy to talk about that. And then I will also kind of talk to you guys about, like Mrs. Bromley said, how to get a hold of me. So I have a few different ways that you can get in touch. I'm always connected to my email. So my email address is lindseyz@spokaneschools.org. So LINDSEY, Z as in zebra, @spokaneschools.org. And then I also have my office phone number and a Google Voice number. So when I respond to you via email, you'll have both of those numbers. I'm also happy to publish those in the Q&A if that's easier. I can send them to Mark and then Mark can put them in there. I'm happy to connect whichever way works best for you. I know that we're in difficult times and connection is hard. So with Google Voice, you can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I'm trying to be creative in how I connect with families. So just let me know. It's really helpful for me to know if you have an email on file and you never check it. That's really good for me to know. If you say, hey, send me a text and I'll respond, that's perfect. I have all of those ways to connect with you. So Mr. Sherwood has up on the screen kind of a snapshot of our school schedule. So we're calling it real-time virtual learning. So as we talked about a little bit, you'll have an advisory check-in every morning for 20 minutes, Monday through Friday. So that may or may not be a teacher that you see during the school day for your content area, but it will be with other 9th graders, and that will be a consistent person that you do check-ins with. You'll do your conference with that person. So that's really just our way to try to build in some more support and connection with all of our students and families. So know that that advisor is a great point of contact outside of your 6 teachers, outside of me. They're another great resource for your student in the building. And then looking at our schedule, basically we're going to alternate between which periods you have each morning. So the schedule is designed to have live meetings with your teachers from 8:50 in the morning until 11:50 in the morning. So you'll have about an hour with each period. So Mondays you have 1, 2, and 3. Then you switch to Tuesday 4, 5, and 6, and then Wednesday back to 1, 2, 3. Thursday 4, 5, 6, and then Friday will be shorter check-ins with all 6 periods. So the idea behind that, and know that it's not going to be 3 hours solid of just sitting at a computer for your student. We're working as a district to really be creative in the ways that we engage students in these hour-long virtual meetings. But the idea is not to have your student be sitting down the whole time for 3 hours in front of a computer. It will be broken up in different ways with each content area. So know that there'll be some variation of what that looks like. And then we have an hour for lunch and transition every day. And then the afternoon will look a little bit different depending on what teachers have assigned to students and things like that. So there's an hour built in for students to have work time. So ideally in the morning, if you had 1st through 3rd period, in the afternoon, maybe you'd be working on your assignments or prepping for your class meetings for 4, 5, and 6 the next day. And then there's an hour, looks like an hour and 40 minutes in the afternoon built in for maybe small group instruction. So there may be certain students who teachers invite in to come in person in building, or maybe a small group in teams. So if that applies to your student, a teacher would communicate that to you and you would know if that applies to you. But the idea is to have the afternoon be more flexible for students to be able to engage in their learning and prep for the next day for their live meetings. And then every day we have built in the 2:30 to 3 student and parent access time. So that may be a time that a teacher schedules a specific meeting with you. Other teachers may have office hours that they say, hey, I'm on Teams, feel free to call me on there. So the afternoon is going to be a variety of things that you'll see for your students. So the heavy time that we really need those students in front of computers engaged is the morning time. So know that, students, if you're on here, and parents, that's really the time for students to have kind of some quiet and have their computer. So that's kind of a little recap of our schedule. Definitely new for all of us, but I think we're going to do some great work to really be able to connect with kids in that time that we're on Teams meetings. It's new for all of us. What else? So how to get a hold of me, your schedule. If there's an issue with your schedule, first I'll say PowerSchool. PowerSchool's been a challenge for us. We've been having some trouble with students getting logged in. So if that's an issue, you're welcome to reach out to me. I have lists of login information. Some have been successful, some have not. And maybe somebody else, maybe one of my admin has more info than I do, but as of right now, some have worked and some have not. So be patient with us. We're working out some of the PowerSchool login struggles that we're having, but I'm happy to look up your schedule, let you know what your schedule is if you have questions. Friday, I did look through everyone's schedule. Everyone has 6 periods. So if it's just a matter of, shifting an elective or a different course or something, just shoot me an email. I will get back to you and we'll work on it together. We're trying to really only make changes if maybe a student is misplaced in a certain content or there's a conflict of certain classes that are offered, but feel free to shoot me an email and I can verify some information if you'd like that. Other than that, I'm just excited to have 9th graders. It's really, really fun to just start fresh and get planning with all of you guys and welcome you to our North Central family. So thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. So I did want to address the PowerSchool because there are several questions about the PowerSchool. So this year they did a master reset. So everybody, all the students that that changed their password, it has been reset to your birth date. And then in addition, the username used to be only your student ID. There is now 3 or 4 additional numbers that have been added to it. So if you are thinking, why can't I get into it using even just my username and or my code that I've always done? Well, we have mailed out letters to all of you. If you have not gotten those, please feel free to give us a call to the public office. We can also get that. Ms. Salad's happy to do that. If you haven't received them, I've heard some people have just started getting them today, so I would give it maybe another day or two. But the biggest problem that we're having is that even when we tell students there's this additional 4 digits, they're so used to putting in just their student ID. When I do it, I find that it usually is user error. So please put in that additional numbers. That's probably going to be your biggest issue if you're missing that. Also, we sent out the PowerSchool parent letters as well. So parents, you can make sure that you're being able to keep on track with your students. So Mr. Sherwood, actually, I'm going to have you actually answer this question. So when will classes be up in Teams?
So the district has been building that. Let me see if I can get myself on here so you can see me and not just hear me. The district has been getting that all set up. The teachers are getting that all ready. It's supposed to be probably a few days before school starts that they will make them all live. But it is kind of been a big process, as you can understand. But when those are live, kind of a cool feature too is that as things are assigned in Teams, those grades will then talk with PowerSchool. So they will match up with whatever's in Teams and will also be in PowerSchool. And then there's a feature that teachers are still learning. But there is going to be the opportunity for there to be like an automatically weekly, they're calling it a weekly digest, sent home to families, explaining and just showing what level of engagement the student had that week and what they turned in or did not turn in terms of assignments. So it'll be kind of a regular communication sent through Teams just to show you what your child's doing every week.
Great. Now, this one is for Madison. There's a few questions around will they be basketball, where will there be clubs like D&D? So lots of questions about activities and sports. Can you answer those?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Wendy. As long as we can creatively find a way to put the activity online, and I use creatively loosely, there's going to be a lot of different ways that we can continue with our clubs, but we are going to have all the clubs going as soon as school starts. They'll just be very, some of them won't be very different and some of them will be extremely different, like drama and band. D&D, we can do that online, so that's a go. Boys basketball, we just hired a coach this last week, so that will be, as long as we're in the correct phase for the county COVID guidelines, we'll be able to have a season. So we're excited about that. Basketball and all sports will start December the 28th, as long as our county is in the right phase. Thanks, Wendy.
All right, great. I'm going to send this one to Ms. McCracken. When do we pick up our laptops?
Well, next week, beginning on Tuesday, September 8th, will be supplies distribution in the school for items such as consumables and materials you'll need to be successful. And part of that distribution will include technology in the library. So if you've completed, when you complete your online form, your student can pick up their device without having to have a parent with them. So you're clicking all that online when you do that. Keep in mind that did I explain this earlier about technology and opening it up and signing on? I don't think I did, so I'm going to go over it now. So when your student comes in to pick up their device, if your online form is already submitted, then your student can get their device without a parent. They'll go into their device and log into it. That initializes the device to them. So all of the settings that would be in school in terms of filters will all be there. It'll make it so the district can track where the laptop is at, what the laptop is being used for, and it'll also filter internet sites so that your student is only allowed on the sites they would be allowed on if they were actually in school also. So that pickup and distribution will be a part of overall supplies distribution beginning a week from tomorrow.
All right, maybe Lindsay, Ms. Zalid can answer this one. How do students meet their teachers, and will the live classes be like this where they won't be able to see the other students?
So you will meet your teachers virtually through Microsoft Teams. It will not be a platform like this. So this is a platform that we're using that's a webinar feature through Microsoft Teams. It's a really great feature for large groups, so that way it kind of helps focus the message and you can just see who's speaking to you. When you have meetings with your teachers, you'll be able to see other students' faces. There's different features that teachers can use. If you have your cameras on, there's lots of fun features that teachers can do where they put you like in a gallery view where it looks like you're in a lecture hall and different things like that. So it's much more engaging where you have an open chat. You'll have different ways that you can connect with your teachers that way. So when you have your conference, you'll get some information about how to log into Microsoft Teams if you're not sure how to do that. So you'll get that information the week of the 8th. And then when instruction begins on September 14th, you'll follow that schedule. Once you have a Microsoft Teams account set up, you'll see appointments on your calendar or links or different classes. Each teacher might kind of utilize a little bit of a different strategy, but you'll have links for your live meetings from your teachers, and that will be in your Microsoft Teams account. So you'll get to see all of your fellow students. I think it's maybe 9 to a screen now that Microsoft updated to. So you won't see everybody at the same time, but you'll get to see a group of each other, be able to chat that way and be a lot more interactive. And I know that 9th grade teachers are also aware that this is your first experience at North Central, so they'll be doing a lot of connecting activities with you. So know that we're not going to jump right into content. Our focus really is to get to connect with our students, get to know you, problem solve, and help you feel like you can be successful in a virtual classroom. So you will get to see them via Microsoft. If you can get logged into PowerSchool, you'll get to see who your teacher is for each period. You're welcome to ask me if you can't log into PowerSchool. I can give you that information as well. But you'll see that that should all be already set up for you once you log into your Microsoft Teams account through your SPS email.
Great. Okay, Mrs. Everman. So maybe we could talk oh, it looks like you just answered it maybe. So it just disappeared on me. I was going to say maybe a little bit about conferences. Are conferences held live or are they held in person?
All right, that's a great question. Conferences will be held virtually, the majority of conferences. Teachers do have the option to have families come in. So there are some teachers who have said they are interested in doing that. They have a way to put in there, or when they respond to you, they can respond to you and say, here's your virtual link. They will send you an email. It will be emailed to you with the link, or they may say an in-building conference is available. And so they will notify you if that is an option to do that work. One other point to add to materials distribution, which happens the 8th through the 11th, is that we will have specific grade levels scheduled each day. So our 9th graders, so for you guys, you're scheduled on the very first day, which is Tuesday the 8th. And it's done by Alpha so that we have, we meet the requirements for the number of students that we can have in our building at a time. So we will be publishing that with it maybe tomorrow or the next day. So you'll get that information. If it doesn't work for your schedule, then just let us know and we'll figure out a way for it to work for you to come in and get the materials and the laptop that you need for learning. So just sign up for your conference. I'll give you a little more information on that after you've completed that process. But if you have any questions, please call our office and we'll be able to help you with those pieces.
Thank you. Ms. McCracken, I'm gonna have you speak to this. There's a couple questions about, are we using Zoom? How do parents talk with with our Teams platform? So maybe you could talk a little bit more about our using Teams and how parents will be using that with their students or with their teachers.
So the virtual classroom experience this year, the online platform will be Microsoft Teams. Students can access that through their email account. a question was also brought up about Clever, and Clever is less used at the high school level. It is just maybe a holding space. You can find Microsoft Teams on Clever, but Microsoft Teams can be downloaded as an icon, so you can just go right to Microsoft Teams. Parent communication methods really aren't changing. Email and phone are still the two best methods to reach out to your teacher with if you're struggling with that. But Microsoft Teams will be the virtual classroom platform.
All right, so Mrs. Everman, can you maybe go back about the consumables? I think that, can you talk a little bit about, so when they pick their stuff up next week, there's questions about those consumables.
Okay, so when you come in next week on the 8th, you'll have a designated time slot. You'll wear your mask. You will follow a specific path through the school, and you when you enter the building, you will receive a checklist that will give you each specific station that you need to stop at to pick up the consumable materials, your laptop, and to do any of the other pieces that you might need to do to get you started in school. So we had a really great checkout process at the end of the school year. We have a check-in essentially process so that you can get everything that you need to be ready to start school on the 14th. So it's a pretty slick process. It went off without a hitch earlier, and I anticipate it'll be really great on Tuesday. So we look forward to seeing you then.
All right, this is a question for Madison. So, and being new, if you don't know the answer, we're okay with that as well. So how do students obtain their family ID?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to defer that to some of the other administrators.
All right, I'll take it. So family ID is actually something you would just go on to North Central's website. There is a link right to it. Anytime you participate in a sport, you need to go in and create an account. You have to, there's a lot of waivers. You have to show that you have health insurance, or you have to make sure that you have a current physical. So family ID is required to be filled out anytime you're going to play a sport, and it has to be done prior to that sport. So there's, you actually can't participate until all of that is done. So you actually go on our school website, the North Central homepage, and you'll see the link right on there for family ID. So. All right.
Thanks, Wendy.
So if we need some things for our electives, will we get a list? So I'm going to throw that to Ms. Zalad. Are they going to get a list of things that they need for electives?
I'm going to go ahead and punt on this one. I'm going to say that your teacher will let you know if there's specific materials that you need outside of regular school supplies. If you have a very specific elective, let's say you're in foods and nutrition, I'm sure Mrs. Stewart will let you know whatever materials you might need if you're going to cook at home. I wish I had a perfect answer, but my guess is going to be your teacher who's going to let you know.
I can answer that.
Okay, let's let Steve answer.
No way. Jessica, go ahead. You seem more enthusiastic than me, and I love that.
No, it'll be part of the consumable pickup. So we have teachers giving all their materials and putting them in the commons at tables. So if you are, say, in color, drawing, and sculpting, you'll have a little baggie to pick up of all your materials that you need for that class. And it'll be on the schedule, and it'll be part of your stop as you go through school. So your teachers will have that already starting on the 8th.
All right, Mrs. Zalad, you already answered this, but I'm going to go back to it. So if students want to change their schedules, or they want to help plan out their whole their 4 years of scheduling, how do they do that?
So again, if you have a question for your schedule, feel free to shoot me an email. That's probably the easiest way, so that way I can send you what your schedule is and kind of talk through options of what we have. We really are making schedule changes for if your students misplaced in a class, if they're missing a class. We've been doing some elective changes. We're trying not to do a ton of changes, but let me know if there's something pressing that we need to change. As far as for your course planning, that's something I have a tool that I can easily kind of make a draft of classes you're interested in and show you what classes are required throughout high school, and then let you work through that of things that you want to maybe take or add in. Once we get the classes going and you guys are settled in school, I'm also happy to set up either like a Teams meeting, or we can communicate that way. If it's easier to have a one-on-one conversation, we can do that. So whatever you are needing, please just ask. We can get creative in whatever you're looking for. So any question that you have, please shoot me an email. We're making minimal schedule changes right now, but I know there's been trouble with logins for PowerSchool and things like that. So please let me know. And like I said, I did check on Friday. Everybody has 6 periods. Everybody has core classes. So if that's, hopefully that is reassuring for parents and families and students. You guys have full schedules, you have advisory teachers, so know that that is all there, but just shoot me an email. And if email doesn't work for you, I posted in the Q&A my email address, my office phone number, as well as my Google Voice number. And again, that Google Voice is a really good way. If texting is your sole mode of communication, I know that sometimes work schedules are challenging, so it's easier to shoot a quick text when you are available during the day. That's fine too.
All right, Mr. Fisk, how does PE work?
Oh, I'm unmuted. Sorry about that. PE is going to work pretty well. You're going to see virtual classes from Mr. Rippon and the rest of the faculty. You will also be getting a blend of SBL or online curriculum that supplements that as well. Parents and students should be anticipating some nutrition work as well alongside with that, but they're really going to be working on asynchronous and synchronous videos to engage students. So it should be a lot of fun, and they're really having a good time putting those together. So we look forward to that. And thanks, Wendy Bromley, for taking over that program this year. It should be a lot of fun for you as well. Thumbs up.
All right. So there's a question of, do we have an LGBTQ club? And maybe, Madison, maybe you could just talk about all the different variety of clubs we have, and give students kind of just a little overview of everything that we have.
Yeah, we do. We have a Pride Club. And let's see if I can share my screen and I can pull up the list of clubs. I added in the link to sign up for Family ID for anyone who is wanting to look at those. Just be aware that that will be changing a little bit in the next month with changes. Mark, can I?
There's got to be a button for you to share. Once you share it, then I can send it up there. There we go.
All right, so this is on our school site. Just go up to activities. You can see the list of sports and clubs here. So we have the anime, bowling, coding. To my knowledge, bowling will not be available this year. Creative writing. So we have a lot of these. So it keeps going. So I encourage anybody to get on here and see if there's anything that interests you, and more importantly, if there's a club on here that you'd like to start that is not listed, please contact me because we'd love to continue to extend any of the lists of our clubs to be able to better serve you. So there we go.
All right. So I'm thinking that we pretty much have gotten most every question in there. Does anybody else see something? I think there was a question about planners. We do have planners available, paper planners if you'd like, when you come in and get your consumables, which are your English and your math. Pretty much everybody's going to have an English and math. You're going to need to pick those up. Your computer, there is a spot for planners that you can pick one up if you like. We're highly encouraging students to learn how to use the digital calendar though, because that's really the direction we're going in this world. So learning how to stay organized with a digital calendar is going to be really critical. So I'll let, okay, Sally.
I do see, yep, I do see one more in there.
Okay.
It says, are all ninth graders supposed to have a history class? and are both electives full year? Those are great questions. So we have, you're required to have 3 years of history to graduate from high school, and we have our students start with history in 10th grade. So you take world history as a 10th grader, US history as an 11th grader, and then you take civics and CWA as a 12th grader. So you are not required to take history as a 9th grader, and for your electives, yes, they are year long. So all of your classes you enroll for year-long courses. If there's extenuating circumstances, we will work with the families, but we are intended to have you in all of your classes all year long. So that was a good question. That's the only other one I saw in there.
Great. Did anybody have anything else they would like to mention before we have Mr. Fisk wrap it up? I do want to say just one last thing, I guess. It'll be me, that we will hope to continue to kind of do this format throughout the year. You know, it's a new world, and this is a way for us to start to get to, you know, you to see us. We're excited to start joining, all of us start joining your children's teams meetings to get to know your students. I know there was a question about how do we meet students, and that's a really legitimate question, right? And so there will be some time within all of the classes. There will be small breakout sessions where you kind of start to get to know students that way. And so we are gonna, you know, do all that we can to also get to know your students and in this new digital world. So I am going to, again, I know with this kind of pause thing, is there anything else anybody wanted to say before I have Mr. Fisk kind of wrap us up? Mr. Fisk, you're muted.
I gotta tell you, I know that my staff take pleasure in every time I forget that I muted my microphone. So you should be appreciative as a group. I want to say thanks for taking the time to come and join us tonight. Please know any questions, any support, any work that you need for us to do, we're here to connect with you. We want to step through those pieces. While I think some of this is unknown at this time, a lot more is going to be known, and we're going to be better servants and better connectors for your kids. And stay tuned as really the situation grows and changes. And thanks for your time, and thanks to the NC staff today for coming out, and have a beautiful evening.